Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Boxer Boxing. Now, man, with the latest win by cartel with Oscar Valdez versus Conseo, I can't say his last name, really hard to say. It was a decision win. Oscar Valdez won the fight. Their judges that work for WBC having the fight 110, 117 and 110. Just outrageous scorecards. It was a unanimous decision by Oscar Valdez, man, the fight that he clearly lost. That being said, this fight with Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant, with WBC basically being delegitimized by having favoritism toward their countrymen and giving them passes by letting them test positive for drugs and fighting. With Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant fighting, this is where crossroads meet, man. And this fight will be for undisputed at 168, man. And if I were at PBC, this would be the perfect time to introduce the PBC Belt, to have it such as you won't have these belts really screwing over these fighters because they want certain fighters to win, right? When you have certain organizations working for certain people who favor certain fighters, they're going to have advantages, right? This would be the first undisputed champion at 168. It being Caleb Plant or Canelo Alvarez really doesn't matter. This would be the champion of all champions. This would be the best of the best at 168. This would be for all the titles. Now, there's very few champions in boxing who get all four titles in a division, right? You got Josh Taylor, Terrence Crawford, Alexander Usyk. This would be on our list of those very few short lists. You can count all those guys in one hand. That being said, this would be an all PBC showdown. Canelo Alvarez signed a deal with PBC to make this fight happen in the first place. And some people are saying it's one fight deal. I extremely doubt it. I think this is a multi-fight deal with Canelo Alvarez. Jamal Charlo already came out and said that Canelo fight's already in the bag. David Benavidez, they seem more than just a hint of, hey, I might fight Canelo. They seem more than sure they're gonna fight Canelo Alvarez. Jose Uzcategui and David Benavidez, they're soon to clash very soon, right? Jamal Charlo, he's always fighting big dogs. That Sergey Derevyanchenko fight was still a big fight for him, right? He's still fighting big dogs in his division, but he's playing it more safe because he just came off fighting big dogs in his division by like Sergey Derevyanchenko, who really beat Triple G. He didn't get the nod, but Jamal Charlo already fought the big dogs, right? Multi-division world champion. David Benavidez has yet to really prove himself at 168, much less be a unified champion, right? He's never, when I mean prove himself, I don't mean fighting tough opposition. I mean like fighting the best of the best by getting a title, more than one title, right? So that being said, man, this Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez fight, yeah, like I said, this is the perfect introduction to the PBC belt, so you don't got paying all the sanctioning fees. There's no reason to keep all four of these titles. I understand that these titles charge like a 7% tax just to hold the title. Then you got to pay sanctioning fees, all that stuff, So, yeah, man, it makes no financial sense to keep the titles. Once you get the titles, that's all you need. So, the PBC, if they're smart, they're going to introduce their belt. I've been hearing them talked about for years, but are they going to actually do it? This is the time. There's no better time to do it than an undisputed type event. Right now, one other undisputed fight that's probably going to happen really soon is with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. There's been rumors that Terrence Crawford has been signed with MTK Global because he's being advised by someone who works with him, was really affiliated with him, right? But we're gonna see how that whole thing plays out. But the Errol Spence Jr. fight and the Terrence Crawford fight, that will most likely happen as well. Same thing with whoever wins the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight. The AJ fight is right around the corner. There's just a lot of big things in boxing happening to make these big fights happen. This undisputed era, in my opinion, boxing's on a tear right now. A lot of people talk about how boxing's dead, but I can't tell because there's a lot of big fights happening right now, and the PBC is on fire right now. Now, that being said, man, Al Heyman's playing chess with the WBC. If they want to have it such that the Mexican fighters are always going to win, that WBC is going to have judges on these big fights, making sure these Mexican fighters win,
like Canelo Alvarez, making belts up for him like the franchise title. The PBC might as well join in on the fun, right? And make the PBC belt. And this would be wild stuff because really, the Hispanic fans, Mexican fans really can't come out and say shit like, oh my God, the PBC making a belt, it's not legitimate. Well, how is it legitimate, champ? If Canelo beats Caleb Plant, Canelo would be the first PBC champion. This is a chess move by my boy, Uncle Al Heyman, man. And this is a really big deal for the sport of boxing because people who hate Al Heyman love Canelo Alvarez, and people who love Canelo Alvarez hate Al Heyman for the most part. And, a lot of people are talking about how, don't give Al Heyman a check, don't fight under the PBC, Caleb Plant don't deserve to fight. It's really because they don't like Uncle Al. That's what's all really about. It's Al Heyman. It's the black man on top. Let's just keep it a buck. Now, like I said earlier, man, make. I'm not talking past Caleb Plant, but make Caleb Plant the first undisputed champion. I would favor him to beat Caleb Plant just because we've seen Canelo Alvarez fight big names. We haven't seen too much of Caleb Plant fight the biggest of big names. His biggest win is Jose Uzcategui. Great fight, but we have yet to see him compete at the highest level. Canelo has been doing it for a very long time now, right? Fought Shane Mosley, Austin Trout, Arizona Laura, win, lose, or draw, Triple G. These are big fights, right? Everyone at 168, Liam Smith, all those guys, right? So, yeah, man, make Canelo the first PBC champion. Like he was the first franchise champion, make him the first PBC champion. PBC, Uncle Al, he's known to make these fighters, he's known to make Mexican fighters, he elevates them above everyone else, right? Without Al Heyman, Andy Ruiz would be in the background doing nothing under Top Rank. He would be a nobody, and he would still be weighing 1 billion pounds. The reason why Andy Ruiz got that fight was because of Al Heyman. It's big facts. He signed him and everything. My boy Bob Arum didn't see no value in Andy Ruiz, right? Al Heyman is used to making superstars out of nobodies under PBC. Another rising star coming out of PBC as well is David Benavidez. He's a rising star coming out of PBC. Al Heyman is known for making not just Mexican superstars, but black superstars as well, right? Gervonta Tank Davis is under Floyd Mayweather Promotions, but he works with the PBC as well. Same thing with Errol Smith Jr., and I can go on and on. I'll be here till 3 o'clock in the morning talking about him. But yeah, man, so this is a win-win situation for Al Heyman and the PBC. They need to make this title now. This is the perfect time to do it. This is the best way to do it without any flash or any kind of pullback or any pushback from the media or the fans, because Canelo will have the title, right? This is the time to do it. So let me know what you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Boxing Empire. Peace.